This is major. These letters patent now made public. There is no longer room for speculation. This is a done deal. Royal will. Those two words are the scariest words in the English dictionary for Harry and his skanky wife, Meghan Markle. Charles III, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom, of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of our other realms and territories, King, said entitlement of Prince and His Royal Highness should be removed. Well. Harry and Meghan were told that they couldn't use the royal titles for commercial purposes, that they no longer could use the HRH since they were no longer working members of the royal family. Did they listen? Of course not, because this is Rachel Meghan Markle, the paralegal from Suits, guys, who knows better than everybody. She was going to come into the monarchy and tell them what to do because her and her sick mind thinks that she knows better than anybody. And today she just found out that she doesn't, because the king has reminded her who really holds the power. And this is too juicy. And no wonder she was using those titles for everything. Call me the duchess when I walk in, make the royal announcement, even though I'm not royal. And also during this video, all of you know that I have had cancer and that I lost a lot of hair. I will tell you the secret of how I got my hair back. And it's very easy, and you can also do it for yourself. You can do it at home. You don't need to buy expensive medications. So stay tuned, because this is going to change your life too. So let's get into this video, beautiful people. Hello, my name is Paula. If you're new to the channel, I am a former diplomat. I worked as a diplomat for 14 years. I worked with a lot of royal households and VIP government agents, and I was also a high-ranking government agent, although I can't disclose it because it's a confidentiality thing that we do, and we cannot talk about it after we leave. So those are my credentials for you guys. And now I'm a YouTuber. So don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe, and I'll do all that good stuff. It takes less than 2 seconds. And if you want, please hype the video. And we're going to get into Harry and Meghan's most dreaded nightmare. You know, I didn't understand why this woman was so hell-bent in getting people to announce her when she was coming in, saying, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. A former maid that I interviewed in this channel, she said that Meghan Markle used to mock their accents because they're all Latinos. Sorry, my hair is driving me crazy. They were all Latinos, and she insisted every morning on being addressed as Her Royal Highness, Princess Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. I mean, I have to say it slowly because, you know, it's a mouthful. And these poor people who, yes, they spoke English, but, you know, it was a struggle, she would mock them. And we saw that when she did the Harry and Meghan, or the With Love Meghan, and she had Mindy Kaling when she was mocking her accent. You mean, look, that she's just a mean girl. Afterwards, they could call her ma'am. I would have called her other stuff, but, you know, I wonder if this attachment of the titles, to put them everywhere, it's her idea that if she does this, she's going to railroad the royal family into thinking that they can't take the titles away. That's the only thing I can think of, because that's her MO. It's like, I'm going to do this, and she goes and does it, and she thinks that by forcing people or forcing herself on people, it's going to make them do it. But she's finding out that a lot of it has backfired. A lot of it has backfired because she doesn't understand that she doesn't have that power. She doesn't understand that people get to see her for who she is. On another note here, Harry was here in Toronto. You get to meet the prince for $500, for less than $500. You get to stand right next to a real life prince. That is a former prince. They couldn't sell all the tickets. The tickets were still for sale about 40 minutes prior to the event starting. That's how empty it was. And they had to have employees and staff seat in the empty seats because it looked embarrassing. I'm going to do a whole video about it because I got some inside info from somebody who was actually there. I wasn't going to go there because they didn't allow you to have your phones or film anything. Everything was controlled because, of course, they know that if the real truth comes out, that nobody likes Harry, and that was hardly anybody there, is not good for the image. So it's control, 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 control. This letter from the king is bad news for Meghan. And Harry, because let's not forget that Harry's the one who was gifted the royal title. You know, and many people say, oh, Meghan Markle is title. The king must take her title. What title? Meghan wasn't gifted a title. It was Prince Harry. Meghan gets to use it as a courtesy. So this is bad news. For many years in my channel, those of you who have been following me know that I've always said that all it took was a letters patent to turn a prince and a duke and whatever other titles they had into a regular citizen. That is called the royal will, and it's a letters patent. For years I was ridiculed, but here we are. And it's not that I was this paragon of, you know, like knowledge. I simply wrote to the House of Lords. I wrote to the House of to Parliament, and they wrote back. They also have it on their website that it's up to the monarch to remove all honor styles and titles from that are royal titles. So the answer has always been there, but we've always had people putting out that it was so difficult. It required an act of parliament. Oh my God, this is so terrible. No. And I stood my ground. I stood my ground because of my knowledge. I mean, we had the Queen of Denmark remove the titles from her grandkids. I mean, they were upset, but there's nothing they can do, and it makes sense. Because we have two rogue royals that are going around. They're still listed on the royal website. They're still using royal titles. Harry was announced yesterday here in Toronto at that place as His Royal Highness Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, all of his former royal titles. You're not going to read this in the press, but the person who was there said that he was announced as His Royal Highness, and it's quite embarrassing, and that he was a mumbling idiot. And Meghan Markle, we've caught her using the HRH with Jamie Kern Lima, and the press and royal experts have tried to excuse this by saying, well, the Queen said that it's not for commercial, that they can use it in private. Absolutely not. The Queen's statement is, yeah, you're no longer working royal, so you cannot do the HRH. Well, the letter has finally dropped. Before I read you the letter, I will tell you what you need to do to help your hair grow when you have hair loss. Also, if you're losing hair, you can do it to preempt it, you know. Basically, grab coffee and cinnamon, like a cup of coffee, like ground coffee or instant coffee, and add like spoon or two of cinnamon. Hopefully you're not allergic to either of them, and then mix it with your shampoo. And what you do is you mix it really well, and then you rub your scalp really well. The caffeine is going to stimulate, and the cinnamon are going to stimulate your follicles into getting into growth. I mean, I lost a lot, but I don't know if you can see it. It's coming right out again. And then you just wash your hair really, really well, your scalp. Most importantly, your scalp, you wash it with that. You leave it for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then rinse it off really well. You have to rinse it off really well. Make sure that the water comes out clear when you're finished with that. And then if you use conditioner, you just use the conditioner. And do let me know in the comments if it works for you. Okay? So now we're going to get into the letters that Harry and Meghan have dreaded for so long. Royal will. Those two words are the scariest words in the English dictionary for Harry and his Yankee wife, Meghan Markle. And this letter that the king has just dropped says it all. It's poetry. It is simply poetry. Charles III, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of our other realms and territories, King Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith, and whereas Her late Majesty This is important. He's going to start telling you the origin of prince and princess styles and titles and honors. So they go, and whereas Her late Majesty Queen Victoria, by her letters patent, dated the 30th day of January in the 27th year of her reign, did in exercise of her royal prerogative, declare her royal will and pleasure as to the style and title of the princess and princesses of the royal family. So Queen Victoria determined back then who could be prince and princesses and her royal highnesses or his royal highnesses. And whereas His late Majesty King George V, by his letters patent dated the 30th day of November in the 8th year of his reign, did in exercise of his royal prerogative extend and amend the said letters patent of Her late Majesty Queen Victoria by declaring his royal will. And whereas under the above mentioned letters patent, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been entitled to hold and enjoy the style, title, or attribute of Royal Highness and the titular dignity of Prince. And whereas we deem it expedient to declare by due authority that the said entitlement should be removed. Said entitlement of Prince and His Royal Highness should be removed. Now know ye that we of our special grace, certain knowledge, and mere motion do hereby declare our royal will and pleasure that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor shall no longer be entitled to hold and enjoy the style, title, or attribute of Royal Highness and the titular dignity of Prince, in witness whereof we have caused these our letters to be made patent. Witness ourselves at Westminster the 3rd day of November in the 4th year of our reign. This is the letter that has Meghan Markle quaking. And for those of you who insisted that the Duke title could only be removed by an act of Parliament, sit down. Sit down and shut your mouth. I told you that all it was required was a letters patent. Charles III, by the grace of God of the United Kingdom, of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of our other realms and territories, King, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith, whereas Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, by royal warrant, dated the 1st day of June in the 53rd year of her reign, did declare and ordain that there shall be a roll called the roll of the peerage, referred to in her warrant and in this our warrant as the roll thereto. Now know ye that we direct our Secretary of State to cause the Duke of York to be removed from the roll with immediate effect. Given at our court at St. James the 30th day of October 2025 in the 4th year of our reign. Case closed. Case closed. Now, was there any Parliament involved? Was it difficult? No, but it was necessary. But it goes to show you how the mainstream media, how all these royal experts, I'm going to name Dickie Arbiter, people on the talk show, Rebecca English, Camilla Tominey, they kept saying that, oh, it was required an act of Parliament. Richard Eden, everybody kept saying that it was required an act of Parliament, which is why people came to my channel and called me an ignorant idiot. I guess so, I was stacked up against a pretty heavy panel of people. No, it wasn't required. It was just the letters patent. And there's 2 coming for Harry and Meghan Markle, but it's mostly Harry. If he had written a blanket letters patent like King George did back in the day when he said only these people can hold the titular dignity of Prince and the style of HRH, but the king didn't want to do it out of pity for Princess Eugenie and Beatrice and because, of course, Prince Harry. It is It is something that Harry never counted on having, and least of all Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle is panicking. I've been told by very reliable sources that Meghan Markle is panicking after this letter was actually released because they didn't see this coming. What will she do now? What will she do? I mean, she really has to toe the line. Is this why her rhetoric about attacking the royal family has shifted a little bit? I mean, never mind her absolute derangement of having people announce her when she walks into a room, even if it's the living room, if her own home or somebody's home. But what is Meghan Markle going to do? Because she wrapped her whole identity in a title that she has held for less than what? 5 years? She's lived on this earth for 39 without a title. But now she's a nobody. She can't cope without a title. She's getting ready to sue Prince William and the monarch because they're taking away her title. Keep in mind, I told you that she herself holds no titles because Rachel Meghan Markle is not of royal blood. All royal wives get to use the title as courtesy. Let me know what you think because this is major. These letters patent now made public. There is no longer room for speculation. This is a done deal. Now we know how easy it is to remove titles. Should we push the king to do the right thing and simply remove all titles from non-working royals? Let me know what you think, because I sure as hell would like that, to keep the monarchy respectable, because every day that Harry and Meghan and Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice are out and about doing stuff with royal titles, it's a stain in the monarchy. Let me know what you think. And also, please don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe.